Welcome back to what seems like a summer evening at the Oakland Coliseum, and right now we direct our attention to public address announcer Roy Steele.
Please direct your attention to the center field area. Presenting the colors for tonight's game is the Castle Air Force Base. And now to honor America, please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem as performed by the Grammy Award-winning Columbia recording artist, Michael Bolton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That means it's almost time. When we come back, we'll turn it over to Jack Buck and Tim McCarver as we draw closer to Game 4 between the Reds and the A's after this word from your local station. Well, we're just about set for Game 4. The Reds are on the threshold. The A's are on the edge. And which way will it go? We don't know, but we do know there's nobody we'd rather have to help get us there than Jack Buck and Tim McCarver. Good evening, Jack.
Thank you, Pat, and good evening, everyone. Well, everybody knew coming into this 1990 World Series that the Oakland A's were the favorites. Tim McCarver and I, for a lot of reasons, thought that it was a rather even series. After all, Oakland had won 306 games in the last 3 years. Cincinnati went wire to wire and beat a good Pittsburgh team. And who would have thought that we'd end up in a spot like this with Oakland about to become the sweep-ease of a World Series?
Well, I'll tell you, when you think about Cincinnati, these are the best of times for this lovely Midwestern city and their team. And what a team they have been. Think about the efforts from everybody. Billy Hatcher, Chris Sabo, Eric Davis, Barry Larkin, even Billy Bates scoring the winning run in Game 2 and driving him in, Joe Oliver. And when you think about their pitching staff, almost all of their pitchers have contributed mightily and positively to the cause also.
And think about the Oakland A's and how things have changed since the 10th of October, 10 days ago, on this very field. A joyous celebration after sweeping the Boston Red Sox, and they thought they were headed for further glory. But last night, these were the faces of the Oakland players. And their manager, Tony La Russa. And it seems that only one person can save the Oakland team, and that is Dave Stewart. What a spot he's in.
I think Dave Stewart will try to buy time so the offense can muster up some runs.
It's Dave Stewart against Jose Rijo in Game 4. Back here at the Oakland Coliseum, and you know the story. Oakland taking the field and trailing 3 games to none and facing elimination. Major League Baseball accorded the honor of throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to one of their former players, Joe Rudi. And folks might remember this play in the 1972 series, this catch by Joe Rudi against Cincinnati. He was a brilliant outfielder and a big part of that outstanding period of play for the Oakland A's. Listen to this hand for Dave Stewart as he emerges from the dugout and goes to the mound. He's got the whole world in his hands.
I guess you could say in outer space then is Rickey Henderson in left field. Dave Henderson in center field. And the big surprise of the night, Willie McGee starting in right field. Jose Canseco has been scratched. Carney Lansford at third base. Because of the injury to Walter Weiss, Mike Gallego continues to play shortstop. Willie Randolph, his 46th postseason game at second. Mark McGuire over at first base. And another surprise, Terry Steinbach is not in there. Neither is Ron Hasse, but Jamie Quirk, his first appearance in a World Series game, and this is his third World Series, and he'll catch Dave Stewart.
Stewart on the mound. He was the loser in game 1. He pitched 4 innings, gave 4 runs. He'll face Barry Larkin at short. Billy Hatcher in center. Paul O'Neill in right. Lineup much the same with Eric Davis in left field. Al Morris, the DH. Chris Sabo at third base. Todd Benzinger at first base. Joe Oliver, the catcher. And Mariano Duncan playing second, and their pitcher will be Jose Rijo. Larry Barnett, the American League umpire, is still absent due to illness. Bruce Fremming pressed into service. Ted Hendry has the plate. Randy Marsh, Bruce Fremming, Frank Pulley, Rocky Rowe, and Jim Quick are the other umpires. There's Bruce Fremming.
Bruce Fremming, interestingly, has on Randy Marsh's hat.
It doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't. See how small it is? It's on Frank Pulley's socks, Jim Quick's long johns. He's got long johns on. Can you believe that? And Larry Barnett's jacket and shoes. So he's a regular fashion plate out there tonight.
He's a hybrid umpire. Here is Barry Larkin standing in to start it. And we'll be able to tell early on with regard to Dave Stewart about his well-being. Remember the last time he worked in game 1, his manager Tony La Russa said it was the worst start I've ever seen him have. And it is ball 1. Larkin, Hatcher, and O'Neill in the Cincinnati first. Barry has had 5 hits in this series. There's a strike call by Ted Hendry, the American League umpire. 1-1. Tickets hard to come by for this one. And off the glove of Jamie Quirk. That's Sam Perlazzo coaching at third base. And Tony Perez, perhaps a Hall of Famer in the future, coaching at first.
The first baseman when Cincinnati swept the Yankees in the World Series in 1976.
Fly ball to start the game into short right, and the center fielder wants it. Dave Henderson has it for the out. You watch him every day, he'll drive you crazy the way he bends and twists under a fly ball, but he always catches them. There's one out, and that's the way this one starts.
Yeah, Dave makes catches like that, like his dominant eye is his right eye. He leans left and catches it with one hand. It is unusual.
Billy Hatcher. Strike to him.
You can tell Dave Stewart's going to get the high strike. That's 2 straight called high strikes from home plate umpire Ted Hendry.
They caught my eye also, Tim. Strike 1 to Hatcher, who has 9 hits and 2 walks in this series, and a foul makes it strike 2. Dave Stewart, a 22-game winner during the regular season. Last night he threw out the ceremonial first pitch, and here tonight he threw out the meaningful first pitch. It all rides with him. Oh, he was hit by that one, and Billy Hatcher goes down, and that one had to hurt. He'll go to first with 1 out, and where did it get him?
Looked like it was right above the elbow. There's a nerve center right above that elbow. And it may have been in his hand. Yeah, it looks like his left hand. Billy tries to get out of the way of it. Yep, hit him right on top of the left hand. Oh, brother.
And being a right-handed batter, it's that left hand that's dominant on the bat, and that had to hurt. The count was 0-2 when he was drilled.
Well, Billy Hatcher, 9 for 12 on the series, 2 walks. I think Dave Stewart was trying to move him back off the plate. I don't believe that was intentional. Here's Stewart going into the ball. Good hitters protect the outside part with 2 strikes, and it looked like Hatcher's approach was outside, and that ball plunking him on the top of the left hand. Initially thought it was the elbow, but it's his hand.
And it was not a glancing blow. When you get that hand pinned against the bat and get hit by a pitch with that velocity, it hoits. Sometimes it hurts so bad you can't run. And we'll see what they do with him. So a critical moment here early in game 4. Tim, you said you didn't think it was intentional. What made you think that?
Well, I think because the count was 0-2. Usually with the count 0-2, I think one of the things that's missing in the major leagues nowadays, especially in the American League, is not enough pitchers throw inside the hitters. Hitters don't expect it, and that's why, unfortunately, a lot of hitters are getting plunked nowadays. But a hitter's got to continue to establish the outside part of the plate. I think Herm Winningham's going to be the runner for Billy Hatcher. I think Billy's out of there. I do not think there was intent. Of course, that's always that vague area. There's Herm. He will be the pinch runner for Billy Hatcher. It's a shame, and you got to pitch inside. That's the other thing. And whenever you pitch inside, there is the chance of hitting a hitter. It's certainly controversial. And here it is again. The count is 0-2, a call strike and 1 fouled back, and now this.
He didn't bail out very well, did he? He was going into the pitch.
I think your point is well taken because there was no give. It did pin that hand against the bat, and that's why there is more concern, I would think. He had on that golf glove, but there's no protection there.
Larry Starr is taking care of him, and at least he'll run the bases here in the first inning and trying to get a little circulation back in that hand and then find out if he can go to the field in the bottom of this first inning. Hatcher, by the way, stole 30 bases during the season.
I'll tell you, we were led to believe that Winningham was going to be in the ball game, but evidently Billy talked Piniella out of it, and he's the runner at first base.
Paul O'Neill is the batter. O'Neill, who had that great series against Pittsburgh, is 1 for 9 here in this World Series. And they play him a bit to pull. Hitting room through the right side. The runner going. Jamie Quirk throws and out at second base. So Cincinnati tried to change the hit batsman into a double.
One of the toughest things is to start on an irregular basis when you're a catcher. There's a lot more to it. Footwork, throwing. Jamie Quirk remarkably threw out 11 of 21 that tried to steal on him this year, and he gets Billy Hatcher here in the first. Like an unsure tag by Gallego. He may have been in there, but the ball beat him.
And for the second time, a pitch goes off the glove of the catcher. Quirk gets 2 balls and a strike. Quirk was out here early taking some extra work behind the plate, throwing down to second, and it paid off there. There are 2 out in the inning. Half swing by O'Neill makes it 2-2.
Here's another look at that tentative tag by Mike Gallego at second base. He thought it was going to be a short hop. No, he had him before the foot hit the bag. Good call by Bruce Friming.
And a line drive, and that's foul. And it did not touch the glove of McGuire, so it's 2-2. They charged an error to McGuire last night and a ball hit by O'Neill.
Tell you, this comes ever so close to McGuire's. Not really that close when you look at it from that angle, about 1.5 feet, but clearly foul.
Larkin flied out. Hatcher hit by a pitch and then out stealing. 2-2 to O'Neill. And it's blocked by Quirk. And that split finger delivery from Stewart. There's Billy Hatcher on the bench. Trainer Larry Starr still working with him. Already has the hand wrapped. And a bouncer for Randolph. The Reds do not score. After 1/2 inning, nothing doing. Billy Hatcher, left hand wrapped, answers the bell here in the bottom of the inning, and Dave Stewart at the end of the first half inning asked over to the Cincinnati bench, is he okay? Jose Rijo goes to the hill. He defeated Oakland in the first game of this World Series. Here's the lineup. Ricky Henderson, Willie McGee, Dave Henderson, Harold Baines the DH, Carney Lansford at third, then Jamie Quirk, Mark McGuire way down in the batting order, Willie Randolph, Mike Gallego, and Stewart.
One point I want to make before the first pitch is you don't take an eye for an eye approach right now. You don't knock an A's guy down even if you think it's intentional.
And a strike from Rijo.
Remember, Jim Cott and I were talking in the pregame show about the one thing the Reds want to do with the A's. You want to let them sleep. You don't want to do anything to arouse them. And if you start knocking guys down, that's what you'll do.
1-1 to Ricky. Let the sleeping dogs lie.
Yes, sir. I'm sure that's what Lou Piniella and Stan Williams, the pitching coach, conveyed to Jose Rijo.
Fly ball into left field. Eric Davis there. 1 out. Ricky talking to himself as he heads back to the bench.
You know, we saw that a lot of that last night. Ricky talking to himself. That's really quite normal. Jim Cott and I were talking about it this afternoon. I mean, that's the thing that's not normal is when you don't talk to yourself.
It's bad when you answer yourself.
That's true. Yes.
The batter is Willie McGee, the switch hitter, and a foul ball. Willie played center field most of the time for St. Louis. Played right field just before the trade over here to the Oakland team. He can play either place. The count 1-1. Rene Latchman is the third base coach, hoping for some traffic down there. And Dave McKay is the first base coach for Tony La Russa. 1-1 count on McGee, National League batting champion. Base hit. Nope, foul ball. It just kept drifting. Willie took off thinking he had a little something there, and it's 1-2. That's McGee. He'll hit the ball anywhere.
That's because he hits with his arms and his hands. He doesn't use his body to hit, and you can see this ball tailing just foul by a foot. But Willie McGee, one of the most unorthodox hitters. You can see him hitting with his hands. He doesn't use his lower part of his body. That's why he is a singles hitter, and I mean a good singles hitter, an occasional home run.
He's kind of forgotten about the long ball. This one into left center. That's fair. And it is caught. No, it's dropped by Davis. He's hurt. McGee's into second base with 1 out. Davis had it, lost it. Don't forget he had a bad left hand from a previous play in postseason and a bad left shoulder as well.
And you would think that left shoulder going after the ball, we thought it was his left shoulder the other night in game 1 when he went down hard on the turf. Ultimately, we found out that it was his left hand. You could see that unusual style of McGee again, slapping that ball to left field. And watch Davis come in. He had the ball in his glove. Had he held on, that's a legal catch, but it looked like he turned over on his hand. Could have been his right knee. That's also been giving him problems.
Looked like his knee hit the glove and knocked the ball out.
Yep, it could have been his knee. It could have been his wrist or his hand or his shoulder. We don't know. Oh, boy.
Hatcher in the top half of the inning. And Eric Davis here in the bottom half. And he was hurt.
That's why he released the ball.
Again, Larry Starr is out there tending to the left fielder.
The last week of the season, Eric Davis slammed into the left wall at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. And then in game 1 of the World Series, trying to make a diving catch. This is what happened to Davis. And at the time, watch him come down on his shoulder. We thought it was his shoulder, but Jim Cott, in checking, found out it was his left hand. And here it is tonight. Gosh, the right hand went down, the left hand went down. He's got a sore left shoulder, a sore right knee. It could be any of the 4 things, and he just kind of shovels that ball back.
I think it's the ribs, Tim. That's what the trainer is working on, the ribs.
Wow.
Eric Davis, by the way, is thin as a greyhound, and it looks like he might have popped a rib there. But let's go down to Jim Cott and see what Jim knows.
Well, a lot of injuries early in this one. First of all, the injury on Billy Hatcher. You're in the back of the left hand is where the ball struck him. And the hand is being taped up really to keep the swelling down, so he'll be able to continue to play. But it looked from here like Eric Davis almost had the wind knocked out of him, or maybe some rib injuries, as well as a slight injury to that right hand. And what a couple of blows that is for the Reds here in the first inning. We'll try to get a further report back up to you guys.
You hate to jump the gun on anything, but if it is a rib injury, it's going to take more than a few days for Eric Davis to respond to that. There's Dave Stewart on the bench, wondering how all of this is going to come out, and how he's going to pitch for the rest of the evening. And meanwhile, Jose Rijo has to kill time out there on the mound. For the second time tonight, Herm Winningham gets ready to enter the game.
The Cincinnati Reds have only 2 extra outfielders, Glenn Braggs and Herm Winningham. And with Hatcher down and now Davis, Hatcher with the bad hand, there's Glenn Braggs warming up. There are only 2 outfielders left. Of course, a guy like Bill Bates could be rushed into service in the outfield.
Let's watch what happened to Billy Hatcher in the top of the inning.
An 0-2 fastball from Dave Stewart, plunking Billy Hatcher right on the top of the left hand. That ball tailing into him. And now the double by McGee could have been caught. Certainly a healthy Eric Davis catches this ball, but he has had an assortment of injuries, as we explained. And
Tim,
from the looks of Larry Starr, the trainer, he is, you're right, you and Kitty were right, it appears that it's a rib injury.
You know, if Billy Hatcher cannot bat when his turn comes next, and if Davis has to leave the game here, they'd have to put both Winningham and Braggs into the lineup. They could play Benzinger in the lineup and bring in Terry Lee to play first base.
That would be a stopgap measure. Yeah, you could put Benzinger in the outfield, maybe Billy Bates. But if Hatcher and Davis leave, the only 2 regular outfielders that the Reds will have remaining will be Herm Winningham and Glenn Braggs.
And those 2 are warming up, Braggs and Winningham. It would be a guess from the way Eric Davis is failing to recover that we're going to see Winningham in there now, and it'll be very interesting when it's Hatcher's turn to hit as to whether or not he can stay in the game. Well, you never know what's going to happen. We talked about that in this World Series. You never know. There's McGee perched at second. They've called it a base hit.
We understand that it's the right elbow of Eric Davis that is giving him the most problems. That's not to say that that's all that's injured, but his right elbow, from what we understand and for what we have right now, that is his problem. But it could entail also rib injuries. Another thing to keep in mind, if the Athletics win tonight and Davis and Hatcher, they find out overnight that there are serious injuries, you cannot make replacements and substitutions in the World Series.
That is correct. It's happened before to other clubs, and it really is a rule that should be changed.
If you could substantiate the injury, I agree 100%.
Well, Davis is going to stay in. Suffice to say, we have 2 hurting people in the Cincinnati outfield. Eric Davis and Billy Hatcher. Meanwhile, McGee's at second, 1 out, and Dave Henderson is up. And after that long halt in play, let's see how Rijo gets along. No score first inning, and that should be the second out. Duncan backs out. 2 gone. 2 men out here in the bottom of the first.
Cincinnati Reds trying to ice down the series, have 2 players to ice down between innings.
You're right about that, and they're both hurting. We watch Eric Davis out there. He's limping, strolling around, trying to pull himself back together as Harold Baines, the designated hitter, steps into the batter's box. He hit a gargantuan home run here last night.
That was good.
Yeah, that's a leather lung fan. He had access to the PA mic, I think. Here's strike 1 to Harold Baines.
I think he was born with one.
No score first inning, and a lot of things have happened. Rijo throws high and away. Jose is their best pitcher. Now they're going to walk Baines. Piniella didn't, as he fell behind, didn't like the idea of Baines getting one to drive. And they'll pitch to the right-handed batter, Carney Lansford.
The only lead the A's had last night, trailing 1-0, a 2-run shot, and I mean that literally. That ball went a ton to right field. Tell you, the one thing that walking Baines now and getting to Lansford does, it allows Paul O'Neill to shorten up in right field because Lansford does not have power the other way.
And a strike on the outside corner to Lansford, who has not driven in a run in this series. Here's his 2-out chance. And up the middle, and Oakland takes the lead. And Baines stops at second base, and it's 1-0 Oakland. Willie McGee with a double off the glove of Eric Davis, driven home by Lansford. That's the first run against Jose Rijo in this series.
The Athletics 2 for 23 before that hit with runners in scoring position. Make that 2 for 24 because of Henderson popping up with McGee at second. So they're now 3 for 25 with runners in scoring position.
Tony La Russa put this batter, Jamie Quirk, in the lineup looking for balance in the batting order against Rijo. 2 on, 2 out. A's could have a big first inning. There's ball 1.
Most teams try to pitch Carney Lansford inside. They try to jam him. Look where the slider is from Rijo. That's the reason they try to jam him, because he leans out over the plate and handles that ball away very well.
So it's 1-0 A's here in the first inning. And a strike to Quirk. Runner at second base now is Baines, with Lansford at first, 2 out. Quirk drove in 26 runs this year, and Rijo wants to get out of this inning right now. Rijo has a blister on the middle finger of his pitching hand, and we'll be aware of that as we go along. He got that one by Quirk.
Lou Piniella told us that because of the blister on the middle finger of the right hand, that Jose Rijo will throw no more than 100 pitches regardless of how he does. Whether he's leading or behind, they will throw him out. He said 90 initially, then he said no more than 100.
By that time, he should be to bullpen time for Cincinnati if things are right for the Reds. 2 on, 2 out. And just inside and off the plate to Quirk. If he wanted another left-handed batter, he could have played Hassey tonight, but he opted for Jamie Quirk. We'll see what comes of it. count of 3-2 as Quirk just got that back foot out of the way. Now the runners will go.
It's one of those hopscotch sliders. Watch after it happens. Quick feet by Jamie Quirk.
He's been very good. 7 for 11 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this season. 7 out of 11. Baines and Lansford will be on the move. There go the runners. And the strikeout, the first of the inning. So the A's get 1 run on 2 hits, and they leave 2. Eric Davis will lead off in the 2nd inning. Lansford drives home the run. 1-0 Oakland after 1. Look at Eric Davis. He's gone from bad to worse and being helped off the field. He was due to lead off in this inning. He was limping out there in the outfield. He apparently hurt his ribs as well. He's had a bad shoulder, a bad knee, and he is out of game 4. What a shame that is. He had that ball off the bat of McGee, who eventually scored.
The double by Willie McGee, and Eric Davis had the ball, but more importantly, he has a serious injury, it appears. Slamming to the ground. Shoulder, the knee, the hand, and now he had scheduled arthroscopic surgery on his knee for the 2nd time after the series was over. Looks pretty bad, I'll tell you.
Tim, even more so now. Cincinnati would like to end this thing here this evening.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No replacements can be added. Billy Hatcher hit on the hand by Dave Stewart. So Glenn Braggs will lead off the top of the 2nd instead of Eric Davis.
And they keep Winningham on the bench, a left-handed hitter. So Dave Stewart, who hasn't allowed a hit, will pitch to Braggs, Morris, and Sabo.
Tell you, some people think the thing that ignited the Reds was the home run by Eric Davis in the 1st inning of game 1. That was last Tuesday night in Cincinnati. That really woke the Reds up, and they said, what the heck, we're not going to worry about any newspaper columns about how dominating the Athletics are. We can do the same thing, and they have.
Braggs is in no hurry to get up there. Look at there, they scratched Hatcher, and Winningham is going to enter the game. That's in the Cincinnati dugout. So the Reds, after 1 inning, have lost Davis and Hatcher, and have only O'Neill of their original outfield.
And have no more outfielders left. Now that's if indeed Winningham is in the game. That's not official, but that was on Lou Pinella's lineup.
Here is Braggs, 0 for 1 in the World Series. His name became more familiar to people when he took that ball off the bat of Carmelo Martinez and kept it from being a home run over in Cincinnati during the National League playoff. In game 6. And a strike to Braggs. We mentioned it before. This fella has a tremendous physique. He's built more like a football player than a baseball player.
That's an example.
That's how strong he is, folks.
Holy cow. What is going on here?
Have you ever seen that before?
No.
I never have.
What is going on
I have
here?
never seen that before. He swung and missed and broke the bat.
We kiddingly talk about it. He's built more like Fort Braggs. Now look at this. It hits his bat back and breaks in 2.
That's what did it when he hit his back.
Yeah, you've seen Bo Jackson do that over his head, over his knee. How about his back? We've never seen Bo do that. Maybe Bo doesn't know. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Here's that catch off the bat of Carmelo Martinez in game 6.
Coming to the Reds from the Milwaukee Brewers, and are the Reds ever glad that he did? Not only brawn, but height.
He's leading off, and he corks it into left field. Ricky Henderson settles under it. 1 out. These fans are holding their breath on every pitch that Dave Stewart tosses up there. And the Reds have apparently lost both Hatcher and Eric Davis. There's Ricky. And here is Hal Morris. He'd like to start hitting 1 for 11 with 1 RBI. Fellow who batted .340 during the season. He was late on the Stewart delivery.
Only 309 at bats for Hal during the year, so he didn't qualify for the batting title. Right fielder for the Athletics in the American League, won the National League batting title with a .335 average.
Foul ball goes out of play. That's strike 2. This Oakland pitcher, Dave Stewart, in winning 22 games, had 11 complete games. There's his pitching coach, Dave Duncan. And he would like to get 7 innings out of Stewart tonight. Here's Chris Sabo in the on-deck circle. One and 2 the count to Morris, with the A's leading 1-0 here in the second inning.
Look at this guy.
Wearing
See the guy yelling last inning?
Third base umpire Frank Pulley said it was no swing, and it's 2-2. This fellow's dressed like the catcher, Steinbach, unless he's up there backing up Jamie Quirk. He's not that bad a catcher, is he?
No, I don't think I've ever seen that. A guy wearing his equipment to the ballpark.
In the upper deck. Fly ball for Ricky Henderson again. 2 out. Morris 1 for 12. Stewart pitched 11 complete games this year. And of those 11 complete games, he had 4 shutouts. So whenever you give him any runs, you've got the odds against you. Here's Sabo, who popped 2 homers last night, and Chris is 6 out of 12 in this series. Strike from Stewart. He certainly is more comfortable tonight, Tim, than he was in Cincinnati.
Swinging at, are you talking about
Talking
Stewart?
about Stewart.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the other night he was falling behind a lot of batters. He hasn't walked anybody. He has hit a batter. He walked 4 in 4 innings the other night. He is normally not wild. An excellent walk to strikeout ratio.
That's in the corner, putting Sabo in the hole 1 and 2. We've already seen Braggs into the game, and we might see this player, Herm Winningham. Two and 2.
Remember Pinella's comments last night. If Sabo hits balls in the strike zone, he usually hits them hard. His problem, going after bad balls.
Breaking ball is chopped foul. It looked like Sabo jammed his elbow a little bit on that swing. This fellow is a tough cookie, former hockey player. Attended Michigan State University, Michigan University. He's about as quiet as they come.
Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, a real favorite in Cincinnati.
Two out here in the second. And another hit for Sabo, his 7th hit of this series, coming with 2 out, the first Cincinnati hit. What do you know about those injuries, Jim Cott?
Well, standing right outside the Cincinnati clubhouse down here, Jack, Billy Hatcher apparently is going for x-rays in the back of that left hand. The doctor right now is examining the ribs of Eric Davis, so both Davis and Hatcher out of this ball game. Back upstairs.
What a bad break for the Reds, who would like to end it here tonight. And of course, if this series is prolonged, the absence of those two would be a telling blow against Cincinnati. Benzinger at the dish. Sabo can steal a base. He's at first, 2 out. Benzinger out in front. He's 2 for 7 in the World Series. Switch hitter.
If you're a guy like Benzinger now, with the runner being held at first base, Stewart with a good tailing fastball, you should look for the ball away. Glenn Braggs Glenn Braggs got it away, a swing and a miss, and he broke it on his back as Tom Browning looks at it, as incredulous as we were.
It was something.
About brute strength.
They don't make them like they used to.
Bats or players?
Bats. Fly ball to deep right center by Benzinger. McGee is on the move, and he caught it. What a play by Willie McGee. I tell you one thing right now, Canseco would not have caught that ball.
And this is why he is there. Defensively, said Tony La Russa, and look at the play. With Sabo on first base and 2 outs, Todd Benzinger hits one deep to right center, too much hang time, and look at Willie McGee track it down. Tell you, it looks like instead of a glove on his left hand, he has a cesta.
The batter is McGuire. We have a couple of defensive changes for Cincinnati as we look at Willie again.
You know, one of those highlight things, that's what he looks like he's carrying on his left hand. Man, that's a big glove.
A little number by McGuire. Rijo throws him out, and Mark is 3 for 12. I wonder if Jose Canseco would have caught that ball, Tim.
Well, he had the speed, but maybe he didn't have the right glove for it.
And he's hurting a little bit. That's one of the reasons he's not in the lineup tonight.
Exactly
so tonight he couldn't have caught it.
Tony La Russa telling us that the reason he has McGee in there is for defense. He expects a good, strong game out of Stewart, and he wants to save the runs defensively since they haven't been hitting a lot.
That kept the score from being tied. It's 1-0 Oakland here in the second. Randolph is up, and there's the strike. New left fielder, having already batted, is Glenn Braggs, where Eric Davis had been playing, and Herm Winningham in center. And he might be a little bit better center fielder than Billy Hatcher. And he's a left-handed hitter, so he should be comfortable against Dave Stewart. 1-1 to Randolph. Two balls and a strike. McGee doubled and scored the run in the first, and then saved the run in the top of the second. Lansford has the RBI. And a foul ball, and that nailed Oliver, the catcher. Don't tell me he's going to get into the dressing room.
What a nightmare this has been for the Cincinnati Reds. What a nightmare.
That's Pat O'Brien's word. You can't use it.
Look at this. Now Joe Oliver gets one on the right foot. What a nightmare.
Another look as it bounces off the tootsie of Joe Oliver.
Been a lot of talk for years about catchers getting hard-toed shoes, but the problem with that is you can't squat. There's no flexibility in the catching shoes.
They're hard to run in. They don't like to change them every inning and every time they come up to bat. Tony Pena wears them with a little steel tip like a factory worker would wear. Bad part is when you get hit by a foul ball, you usually get hit in the same spot over and over again, and it never heals.
Tell me about it.
You're still not healed?
No. 10 years later.
2-2 to Randolph. Long throw coming up for Sabo. 2 out. Sabo handled 10 chances last night and tied a record.
He is a fine defensive third baseman, 1 of 2 in this ball game. Lansford also. They both led their respective leagues in defensive percentage, the best fielding percentage. Lansford's done it 4 of the last 5 years.
Here's Gallego, and he is 1 for 10. Bats with 2 out. Rio gets a strike in there. The Goodyear blimp sends us these pictures as the sun is setting in the East Bay area. Goodyear blimp Columbia, the captain Charles Russell of Downey, California. Out of play by Gallego, strike 2. just missed to Mike Gallego, and it's 1-2.
You mentioned Tony Pena. When Joe Oliver gets down on one knee, he's getting low to try to get Rijo to throw that ball out of the strike zone. See if he gets low again.
And the pitch was low, and it's 2-2. Gallego's only 5'8", difficult to pitch to. Rijo has retired the last 3. In the bottom of the second, 1-0 Oakland. Started this game right after 5 o'clock local time, and no problem with the sunlight. And a full count. If you walk him, you ask for trouble because Ricky Henderson follows. And ball 4. That was a pretty good pitch there, wasn't it?
Well, we talked about umpires not giving those high pitches anymore. I think the surprising thing about this is it's a slider. That's either an indication that Rijo feels he can get his slider over better than his fastball, or a poor selection of pitches. Because you do not want to walk Mike Gallego on a pitch other than the one you think you can get over the best.
Sometimes a pitcher's fastball will run so much they have better control of the breaking pitch. Maybe that was the case.
The slider especially.
Henderson fly to left his first time. There's a strike. Ricky is 5 out of 13 and 5 out of 8 against this pitcher. Gallego's on the move. Oliver can't get him. Runner on to third with 2 out. Stolen base, error catcher.
I think one of the reasons that La Russa may have sent Gallego is that Joe Oliver just got a foul tip on his toe, and that's the foot on which he pushes off. Gallego stealing, and steals it easily. You see Oliver, a quick throw, but a low throw, and it skips by Mariano Duncan, and Gallego goes to third. Tony La Russa telling us before the game he was going to open things up. No passivity in this game.
And the count, 2 balls and a strike to Ricky Henderson. Yeah, La Russa said, you fellas haven't seen us at our best. He said, we are an aggressive team, and even though we're down 3 games to none, we're going to do some things if we can. 3-1. Oliver makes a trip to the mound to talk to his pitcher. He had 2 strikes on Gallego and walked him on a 3-2 breaking pitch. Now he's 3-1 to Ricky Henderson. Looked like an easy inning as Jose got the first 2.
Joe Oliver flashing down 2 fingers, and Jose Rijo throws the slider. So 1's a fastball, 2's a slider, and I guess 3 would be the forkball. Only 3 pitches by Rijo. He does not have a curveball. He's going to get the slider again. Fastball away now. He shook him off.
And he walked him. This is the 3rd walk by Rijo, one of them intentional, to go with 2 hits. And Willie McGee, who has been in the middle of everything thus far, is the batter. And Piniella comes to the mound to talk to his pitcher. Pinella's got to do everything he can, Tim, to win this game tonight because of the absence of Davis and Hatcher.
You made that point earlier, and I think that's an excellent point. I think Pinella's going to ask Joe Oliver probably what he's going to do if Henderson tries to steal. He just talked to him. I doubt that they'll throw through, but if they do, Gallego might wander off a third base and take a chance on scoring. But with Henderson on first base, a left-handed batter up, it's tougher for a catcher to throw with the left-hander up there because you can't see whether the runner is running or not, and you don't get a good jump on the ball. They may elect to just allow Henderson to steal the base, and if that happens, they may walk McGee to pitch to Dave Henderson. We'll see.
McGee doubled off the glove of Eric Davis in the first and scored a run. And Rob Benzinger of a hit and an RBI. Ball one to Willie.
On the other side of the coin, if you're Ricky Henderson, do you run here with Benzinger holding him on? There's a big hole on the right side. You have a runner in scoring position at third. So this is the strategy being thought about and ultimately employed by La Russa.
Ricky has stolen 2 bases in this series. Pitch out. That makes a ball 2. So that's one of the reasons for the trip to the mound by Piniella a while ago. The big thing here for Rio is to get McGee, forget everything else, and get the batter.
Well, if that's true, why would you pitch out with a count 1 ball, no strikes?
I don't know.
I don't know whether that was good philosophy right there.
Now Henderson, a flying start, a strike called, and no throw. Third stolen base for Ricky Henderson in this series.
That ties him with Davey Lopes for the all-time stolen base record in postseason play with 20.
Now a hit out of the infield would mean a couple. Two and two. Gallego at third. Ricky Henderson at second. Rio has given up 2 walks in this inning. He's 2-2 to McGee. He's leading 1-0 second inning. Got him, and the inning is over. Second strikeout for Rio. 4 left for the A's, but they lead it 1-0 after 2. In downtown Oakland, they salute the Oakland A's. And we'll go downstairs to Jim Cott with Jim Ferguson of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, right outside the Reds clubhouse with Jim Ferguson, Vice President of Publicity of the Reds, and an injury report on Eric Davis and Billy Hatcher, both of whom have left for the hospital for x-rays.
Right. Eric has a severe contusion to the right rib cage and a possible kidney contusion. Billy Hatcher has a severe contusion to the left hand, the top of the left hand. They're both going to Merritt Hospital for x-rays and evaluation.
All right, let's go back upstairs to Jack Buck. That's the report from here.
There they're leaving for the hospital, Eric Davis and Billy Hatcher. Meanwhile, you saw Joe Oliver start this third inning with a ringing double into left, his 6th base hit of the World Series, and the tying run at second, nobody out for Mariano Duncan. And the A's will guard against the bunt.
At the top of the order, Barry Larkin, Billy Hatcher. You don't bunt on the road normally, but it's so early in the game. We'll see whether Lou Piniella plays for 1 run or a big inning. Even if you get a bunt down, Joe Oliver not a fast runner at second.
And ball 1 to Duncan, who is 2 for 10. Again, we'll mention the absence of Bill Dorn, and there's Piniella giving the signs. They're in on the corner. They're really expecting the bunt. Leadoff double by Oliver. And that's ball 2 to Duncan. Cincinnati a game away from being the champions of baseball, but trailing here 1-0 in the third. Duncan up the middle, and Stewart keeps the runner at second and throws the batter out. So Duncan did not move him over.
And a good play by Dave Stewart. That ball hit very sharply. And watch how Stewart just smothers the ball. It hits his wrist, crawls up his torso. He checks on Oliver and throws out Duncan. Good play by Dave Stewart.
Now it takes a hit by the Reds to tie the game. The thing I remember mostly about this pitcher Stewart is when he wore the Philadelphia uniform, he couldn't even pitch out of the bullpen. He couldn't get the ball.
Released by the Phillies in '86 and signed to a AAA contract with Tacoma of the Pacific Coast League.
Ball one to Larkin, who fly to center his first time, and then he won 20, 21, 21, and then 22 this year. National League President Bill White with Ed Vargo, one of his umpiring supervisors. And Lansford keeps the runner at second, 2 out. So it will be up to Winningham just into the game and up for his first at bat.
Routine play for Carney Lansford, but watch how he looks Oliver back at second and then makes the easy play at first base. Interesting way that Carney Lansford gets set. Influenced a great deal by Clete Boyer, the great third baseman of the Yankees, who was a coach here and had a lot to do with the fielding prowess of Lansford at third.
Winningham is 0 for 1 in the series, and this is his first at bat tonight. Tying run at second, 2 out. Ball one. Winningham played for Montreal and the Mets. Ball one strike.
Both pitchers used their sliders very effectively, and that was a slider from Dave Stewart. Stewart doesn't throw as hard as Rio, but generally speaking, better control.
That ball is foul as Jamie Quirk tried to get to it. Jamie started tonight rather than Steinbach or Hasse. He's thrown a runner out, stealing.
He was with the Kansas City Royals in 1980 when they lost the World Series in 6 games to the Phillies. And then he was with the Kansas City Royals in 1985 when they beat the Cardinals. So he has been on both ends of World Series wins. 1 win, 1 loss. His first appearance in World Series play.
And the count goes to 2-2. Good pitchers are never in a rush to get a batter out. You like to set them up and make them hit what the pitcher desires. 3-2. No sweep, says Ed Broom. That's what the A's are facing tonight. But they lead 1-0 in the third. Tying run at second, 2 up. Stewart has had men on base in each half inning. McGuire unassisted. The Reds have left 2. Will return to Oakland Coliseum after this message and a word from your local station for the game and time in your area. Here's the strike from Rijo to Dave Henderson. We're underway in the bottom of the third. 1-0 Oakland. Strike 2 to Henderson, who popped out his first time. He hasn't driven in a run in this series, and he is 3 for 10. Ball one. Anderson, Baines, and Lansford. Called up, and it's 2-2. It's Randy Marsh, the first base umpire. Anderson calls time. And a strikeout, and that's the third of the game for Rijo. Well, here's the biggest baseball star ever from Japan, Sadaharu Oh. He hit some homers, Tim.
Over 800. I had the pleasure of playing against him in an exhibition series in 1968, playing 18 games over there with the Cardinals. I'll tell you the thing that impressed me more than anything catching behind O, the size of his legs and how much he used his legs to hit with. He would pick up that right foot. It was all a timing device, a lot like Mel Ott. Big legs, big thighs, and he really used the lower part of his body when he hit.
The count goes to 1-1 to the batter, Harold Baines, the designated hitter. And Mr. O is sending his telecast back to the far east. Baines up the middle, shortstop Larkin. And 2 out. Barry can bounce around, considered to be the best shortstop in the National League.
Bad news for hitters is Larkin lurking.
Don't hit it there.
This ball would be a base hit with a lot of shortstops, but look how fast Larkin closes the gap and makes his throw about 5 feet on the right-hand side of second base.
And with 2 out, Lansford slices it to right, and Paul O'Neill takes it down. And it's a quick third inning. We've played 3. The A's lead it 1-0. It's a lovely sunset to enjoy here in the East Bay area. We've played 3 innings at the Oakland Coliseum. And the score 1-0 A's. Tim McCarver and Jack Buck. Hoping you enjoy the action here tonight.
Tell you, a lot is said about how much money players are making nowadays. And this gentleman right there to the right of your screen, Larry Rothschild, is the bullpen coach of the Cincinnati Reds. And you may or may not know that bullpen coaches do not make a lot of money. But if the Cincinnati Reds do win this, over $100,000 will go to every player and coach. And Larry Rothschild has been in baseball since 1975, only 2 months in the big leagues. Told me before the game the other day.
As O'Neill leads off.
He said, I told my wife the other day that if we win this thing, we'll break even.
For all the years.
Meaning for all his 15 years in the game, he'll finally break even. So it's not always guys who are rolling in dollars.
So he could use that check. 1 ball, 1 strike to Paul O'Neill. Grounded to second his first time. Leading off in the 4th. Strike 2 on a borderline pitch. He looks at the umpire. Calling Vegas. What are the odds now? One thing the A's have not done is given Dave Stewart much breathing room. 1 run only. There's a strikeout. Stewart's first of the night. He's retired 4 in a row.
One of the few splitters that he has thrown. He was taught that pitch initially by Sandy Koufax in the minor leagues with the Dodgers. And he honed it to perfection under Dave Duncan here with the Athletics, their pitching coach. Saw that ball really dip down out of the strike zone to Paul O'Neill.
Here's Glenn Braggs. He replaced Eric Davis in the lineup, and he's 0 for 1. Ball 1. Now a strike. We have an American League umpire behind the plate, Ted Hendry. Most National League umpires, when they call is a ball, they do nothing. A lot of American League umpires, including this umpire, will toss up the left hand. Takes a little getting used to. What a big swing by Braggs. 1-2.
Glenn's last at bat, he swung and missed at a Dave Stewart fastball and broke the bat on his back. Something that neither Jack or I had ever seen before.
Never.
Swing and a miss and a cracked bat. Man.
Lansford guards the line at third, and the foul goes out of play. There's Lansford positioning against Braggs, playing the pull. Our Goodyear blimp is the Columbia, and Charles Russell from Downey, California, the captain. Sent you that sunset picture a while ago. That ball is fair. And 2 out. 5 in a row. Jim Cott has a little something for us, James.
Well, Jack, you know, the A's have had so much success the past few years, tend to take them for granted. Carney Lansford in spring training came out with some T-shirts that said, "Contentment stinks, stay focused." He wants these A's to stay focused, try to win another world championship. Cincinnati Reds making it awfully rough for them.
Nothing frivolous about this fellow. He is all business out there. There are 2 out, and Hal Morris hits one hard to Randolph. 6 in a row, set down by Dave Stewart. Bottom of the 4th, rolls around. The A's lead the Reds 1-0. Powder pitch from Rijos, strike 1. Tony La Russa made some drastic changes, took Canseco out of the lineup, put Jamie Quirk in the lineup. Played McGee in right field, and that's paid off already. And Rijos trying to blow Quirk away. On the left is La Russa's lineup. On the right, you see Hatcher replaced by Winningham and Davis replaced by Braggs. That's La Russa's lineup on the wall of his dugout. Rio looks like he's not fooling around with this batter team.
Jamie Quirk, a great story. His 8th major league team since 1975.
Ball 1.
Jamie has never had more than 300 at bats during a season. And you mentioned Rijos. Both Rijos and Stewart throw split finger fastballs. Stewart's is not quite as hard as Rijos.
There's another hummer and a strikeout, and that's 4 strikeouts for Rijos, who has set down 5 in a row. Quirk has struck out twice. Andy Jackson on the bench. He'll get a start maybe tomorrow night against Bob Welch. Maybe. The A's have to win here for that to happen, and if necessary, we're on at 8 Eastern time. There's Bob Welch again. Game 5 scheduled. Could be interrupted by a Cincinnati victory here tonight. And strike 1 to McGuire. One and 1. Looks like Rijos has hit his stride here. Pitching very well.
Doing it with fastballs and sliders. He has not thrown a splitter yet, and maybe that's because of that blister on the inside of his middle finger of his right hand.
That one's on the corner, and McGuire's in the hole. Lou Piniella wants it to end here tonight, and they would fly home tomorrow. And the 1990 baseball season would be over. The A's have other ideas. 2-2 to McGuire. Tapped out 1-3 his first time, and he's 3 for 12. And another strikeout. That's 5 for Rijos. That's not unusual for him, and he has set down 6 in a row and makes McGuire shake his head.
Tell you, trying to hit that pitch, that slider right off the plate, like trying to get a buttonhole through a starched, or trying to get a button through a starched buttonhole. You ever try to do that? Get one back from the cleaners, try to pry that button through there. Watch where this pitch is.
Perfect.
You're not going to hit that pitch. Forget it. Take it and hope they call it a ball.
There's a strike to Randolph. And Rijos is making short work of this Oakland 4th. Mark McGwire is 3 for 13 now. And a foul, and Rio is not fooling around out there. McGwire has yet to drive in a run in this series. And Oakland has stopped hitting at the wrong time, as far as they're concerned. They do lead 1-0 here in the fourth. Joe Oliver just sitting there, and Rio pumping that ball in. 1-2. Barry Larkin short hops the ball, and that's 7 in a row, set down by the Cincinnati hurler. We've played 4. 1-0 A's.
You hear a lot about a split finger fastball. Well, what does the pitcher do? He holds the ball down near the tips of his fingers, and this is technically a splitter. The difference between a splitter and a forkball is held back in the palm, toward the palm, and it's choked more. And I guess Jim Cott knows more about throwing a split finger fastball than I do, don't you, Kitty?
Well, I'm working on my forkball down here, Timmy, but what's been interesting is to see the radar gun readings on Dave Stewart's forkball. Radar gun can't tell you a lot, but when Stewart's forkball is like 78 miles an hour versus 82, got a lot more action, gets a lot more outs.
And Stewart pitches into the 5th inning. He has retired 6 in a row. Both pitchers are in a groove. Rio set down 7 in a row. Stewart 6. Sabo singled his first time and went around strike 1.
The action that Jim was talking about, by the way, is down. Whenever that dead spin, that dead fish ball goes down in your screen, you can tell from home that it's going to be a forkball or a splitter.
Sabo didn't have a very good swing at that one. Strike 2.
Sometimes you can't tell whether it's a slider or the splitter. I think that was it. That's that dead fish. You saw it go down out of the strike zone to Sabo. You might get another one right here.
1-2. Sabo, Benzinger, and Oliver in this inning. Reds have left 2 and lost a man stealing, and they trail 1-0. 2-2. Jim Cott. Jim Cott, what do you have?
Well, talking about that speed on Dave Stewart's forkball, it is about 78, 79 tonight, which means it should be effective for him.
And he runs the count full. Every once in a while, this batter Sabo will get in a bad groove where he chases everything. Last pitch, 78 miles an hour. Sabo, another base hit. He's 2 for 2, and that's his 8th hit of the series. A leadoff single here in the 5th, and that's a tying run. Had to come in with a fastball, Tim.
Right. Got into a situation where Stewart had to give in with a fastball. I mean, Sabo hits a rocket over Gallego. Good thing Mike didn't catch that ball. Might have been taken out to Ricky. I mean, that ball hit like a tracer.
We see Sabo making some strides toward being the most valuable player in this World Series. Benzinger is up, robbed by McGee the last time. And Sabo is a threat to run. He's swiped 25 bases during the season. Leadoff hit. Benzinger into left field, and that'll keep the runner at first as Ricky Henderson has it, 1 out. But Benzinger didn't do what he wanted to do. Move the runner. He's 0 for 2 and 2 for 9.
Sometimes the pitcher won't allow you to do that, and you have to do what the pitcher allows you to do. If he throws the ball away and you try to pull it, it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. That's why pitchers are more inclined to stay away from left-handed batters with the runner at first and the runner being held on, so he can't pull it in the hole over there.
Joe Oliver has had a good series. He's had a half dozen hits. Ball one. 1 on, 1 out. 1-0 Oakland, 5th inning. Cincinnati has out hit the A's 3-2. The A's put their hits together in the first for a run. Fly ball will hang up for Henderson. Ricky, that is. 2 out. Oliver took a home run swing but flied out for the 2nd out. Lou Piniella trying to figure out a way to get back into this game. Jackie Moore, one of his coaches, with him in the dugout.
Matter of fact, Tony La Russa took over the Oakland Athletics in 1986, and the manager that was deposed when he took over, Jackie Moore, who is now Lou Piniella's bench coach. Tony.
Duncan is up. Duncan does not bat well against right-handed pitching. But when he hits them, they go. He's hit 10 home runs. What did he bat against right-handers too?
227 on the year and led the majors hitting against left-handers, batting .410 against lefties. So he's a different hitter. He used to be a switch hitter with the Dodgers, but a right-handed hitter all the way now.
They're at first, 2 out. Just trying. That's a funny-looking pitch, wasn't it? You could see Quirk jab at it.
Well, that's that slider that is designed to go away in the strike zone. It's a backup slider. It's designed to go away and it stays inside. It both fooled the hitter then and fooled Jamie Quirk. A lot of pass balls come on backup sliders.
Quirk thought the ball was going to jump, but it didn't. Duncan went around, I think. Yep, saved the first base umpire. The inning's over. 2nd strikeout for Stewart. Cincinnati's left 3. We go on to the bottom of the 5th. The A's still lead 1-0. The Reds are going to approximate what the Giants did to the Indians in '54.
Mentioned 111 wins for the Indians, only 97 for the Giants.
Here's Gallego leading off in the home half of the 5th for the A's, who have been limited to 2 hits. This fellow walked his first time and stole a base. There's strike 2 from Rio, is set down 7 in a row.
103 wins for the Athletics this year, only 91 for the Reds. The only other team that has been swept after having that big a disparity in wins. 14 for the Indians, 12 for the Athletics. That was the 1954 Athletics. They won 111. The Giants 97. Dusty Rhodes 250-foot home run down the right field line that just ducked in and squeaked around that screen at the Polo Grounds.
Oh, Polo Grounds. Gallego 0-2. And he lost the bat and he's out. It's 8 in a row and a half dozen strikeouts for Rio.
Slider out of the strike zone and one-handed little bat toss toward 3rd. I said the A's in '54. Obviously, I meant the Indians. That starting rotation of Garcia, Lemon,
Wynn, Feller.
Wow.
Pretty good lineup. Narleski and Mossy.
Bobby Avila hit .343 that year.
Here is Ricky Henderson, 0 for 1 with a walk and a stolen base. Ball 1. Will Bob Welch take the day off tomorrow, or will he pitch against the Reds at 8 o'clock Eastern time? If so, that means the A's will have won this game. There's a strike. Ball 2 to the batter, 2-1. Here's Bob Welch, 2nd from the left. Steinbach and Dave Henderson in the picture with him. Time called by the batter. A lot of times the umpire won't give the batter time when the pitcher is into his motion, as Rijo was that time. Now goes to 2-2. A's haven't had a runner since the second inning, haven't had a hit since the first inning.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can just see that confidence building in Rijo. We talked about the splitter. Maybe one of the reasons he's not throwing the splitter and only relying on his fastball and slider is because of that blister on the inside of his right finger, middle finger.
And a full count of 3-2. We're at the Oakland Coliseum. And a sold-out crowd watching Game 4 of the 1990 World Series. In the bottom of the 5th. The A's lead the Reds 1-0 here on CBS Sports. 3-2. On the corner, Henderson thought he had walked, and that's the 7th strikeout for the Cincinnati hurler. He's retired 9 in a row.
Ricky's finally talking to someone other than himself.
The umpire.
He's been talking to himself for 3.5 games, and now he has the umpire to talk to. We talked about how healthy that was earlier. Look at this. Here's the play when he made that spectacular catch in Game 1. He's talking to himself, looking at the ball. There he is the other night, talking to himself.
Here's McGee with a foul. That last time he was talking to his bat.
Yeah. And here he is after the home run last night. He's talking some happy thoughts to himself. He is a showman, and what a talent.
There are 2 out here in the 5th. McGee is up. He hits the ball foul out of play to the left, and it's 0-2, and that one stung Willie's hand.
See, with 55,000 people here, the reason you may talk to yourself, you're the only guy that you can hear. Got a lot of folks here, right? World Series celebration.
They do ordinarily make a lot of noise, but these Reds have taken a lot of the steam from the Oakland fans. He hits another foul. McGee doubled in the 1st and scored on a base hit by Lansford with 2 out.
Ricky thought that ball was outside. He started to go to first base.
Control yourself, Rick.
He did.
2 out. Just missed. 1-2 to McGee, who not only has scored this game's only run, but took a base hit away from Benzinger and a run away from the Reds in the 2nd. Stays 1-2. And Dave Stewart can't be feeling too comfortable. He has to win this game. He's leading only 1-0 here in the 5th inning, so Rijo is keeping his club right in it. Were it not for the injury to Eric Davis, we'd be scoreless here. He had a good look at that one. 2-2.
He's not only throwing hard, but he's hitting spots. That spells bad news for the hitters. Rijo has retired 9 in a row, 6 by strikeouts since that 2nd inning. Man.
He scoots one hard to Duncan. That's 10 in a row by Rijo. Now we've played 5, and it's still 1-0 A's in a squeaker. We'll return to the Oakland Coliseum after this message and a word from your local station. The pitchers, Dave Stewart and Jose Rijo, dominate this one. 3 hits for the Reds, 2 for Oakland. And there's a real baseball fan. She's seen some games. Some of the action in the stands on a cool night after a warm day. Will we be here tomorrow night? The Cincinnati Reds are going to need some runs if they're going to end it in 4 games, and they'll send up the top of the batting order, Barry Larkin. He hit 7 home runs during the season. He likes to bunt, sprays the ball around. He's 0 for 2 tonight and 5 out of 16. And something made him smile. Fly to center. He grounded to third. Faces Stewart. Was fan 2, walk none, hit 1, and allowed 3 hits. Spins him out of there. The breaking ball got away from him.
Earlier in the game, on an 0-2 pitch, Billy Hatcher was hit on the left hand. He was forced to leave the game. That, however, was a slider that just stayed inside.
And that's ball 2. Larkin, Winningham, and O'Neill in the 6th. That's ball 3. That's ball 4. Puts the tying run out. Jim Cott wants to talk about the hot corner.
Well, Jack and Tim last night referred to third base as the reaction corner. In order to react, you get your body in position to do it. That's how Chris Sabo does it. And then Carney Lansford just a little different, kind of reminiscent of Clete Boyer, who had a lot of influence on Carney as a third baseman, much lower to the ground, ready to react.
Right down on the deck with a glove. Well, Winningham, a replacement for Hatcher, is up in a key spot. The Reds bunting. A's have to guard against that.
The way the Athletics are swinging the bat, you might think so. Got a lot of options for Lou Piniella now. You can hit and run, you can allow Larkin to steal, or you can bunt.
And Winningham shows the bunt and takes ball 1. Tony La Russa told us that he wanted 7 innings from this pitcher, Dave Stewart, who lost game 1. Russo shook up the lineup tonight. Look how close Lansford is playing at third base.
Luxury you can afford with a left-handed hitter up, because they don't often go that other way. Right-hander, it's a different story.
This runner Larkin swiped 30 bases during the season.
And he was only caught 5 times. So again, Lou Piniella with a lot of options, and Lou Piniella is coming out. I didn't know that that would be one of the options.
He's talking about some distraction. You know what it's about, Jim?
Well, Lou spotted some flash bulbs or lights out behind our left field camera, some fans in the left field stands which were shining in, and right now I think we have some of the security guards going out there, and we'll find out who's responsible for it. Obviously would have an effect on Herm Winningham, the left-hand hitter, with the lights shining in their eyes.
What do you got? Don't tell me they're shining flashlights at the batter at home plate. Who's officer getting those license plate numbers out there? Well, somebody did it. Come on, own up to it.
We have a report. Both Billy Hatcher and Eric Davis are at Merritt Hospital here in Oakland, and Billy Hatcher's hand was x-rayed. His left hand, it is not broken, thankfully. However, Eric Davis is in the emergency room, and he possibly has a bruised kidney. That's our last report at Merritt Hospital, and we will try to keep you apprised of Eric Davis's condition, and we certainly and obviously hope that he is well.
With regard to Eric Davis, we're talking about shoulders, knees, ribs, and kidneys now. What a whipping he's been taking. Meanwhile, ball 1 to Winningham. Stewart keeps a wary eye on Larkin, who walked to start this 6th. There goes the runner. Winningham dunks ahead. There goes Larkin to third. Throw is not made as Henderson dropped the ball. 1st and 3rd, and nobody out for Cincinnati. You know, I was about to say, if this were Cincinnati leading 1-0 in the 6th and a leadoff walk, the bullpen would be busy. It's a little different with Oakland.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Oakland has had problems with their bullpen. Look at Larkin making sure that Stewart pitches, and Herm Winningham just getting his bat on the ball, and Larkin just taking off for third. Excellent base running by Barry Larkin.
There might have been a play if Rickey hadn't dropped the ball.
I think Larkin makes it easily because Henderson's going toward left center. He's got to throw back across his body.
Now first and third and nobody out, and a foul ball by O'Neill.
But I guess it's a moot point when you make this throw. When the ball falls out of your hand, comes a non-throw, and Larkin into third easily. So the Reds with runners and good runners, fast runners on the corners.
Whittingham at first, a threat to steal as O'Neill is up. He's 1 out of 11 in this series. And the Reds and their fans bank on him at the moment. They're back at second and short. They'll trade a run for a double play. O'Neill pops it up for the first down on the infield. Gallego is under it. One gone. That was a big out. One gone. And instead of Eric Davis coming up in this spot, we're going to have Braggs as the batter. That lady with the fedora is Dave Stewart's mother. Dave still lives at home with his mom and in the same house where he grew up, despite his affluence. And his mom is sweating this one out. And Glenn Braggs is up. He is 0 for 2. Eric Davis injured before he had a chance to bat in this game. There, Robin Williams. He'll find something funny about this situation. First and third, one out. Braggs wants at least a fly ball. A's want the double play. Ball one is outside. Piniella knows that this is a grand opportunity for him to tie, go ahead, perhaps end this World Series tonight.
A similar at bat for Glenn Braggs in game 1. If you remember, in the 8th inning, first and third, the Reds were trailing by the score of 4-3, and he hit a little chopper over second that Gallego couldn't stop on that artificial turf, diving into first.
Inside to Braggs, and that's ball 2.
That tied it up, and then the Reds won it in the 10th inning on the Joe Oliver double.
Opportunity knocks for the Reds right here. Perlaza, the third base coach, said make it be a good pitch. First and third, one out, 2-0 to the batter. Fastball coming. High ball 3. I'll mention it again. If this were the Cincinnati situation, were they in the field now, that bullpen would be buzzing, but not here. Nothing doing. It's Stewart or nobody at the moment for the A's. And with that tying run at third, Braggs might be swinging. He was taking. That's ball 4. That's the second walk of the inning in the game, and the bases are loaded and one out. Stewart, bases loaded, one out, and now who's the big man for Cincinnati? 0 for 2 tonight and 1 for 13 in the series. And with one run batted in, it's Hal Morris. He wants at least the fly ball.
Wow. Over a 5-year period.
Ball 1, and Stewart has walked 2 and given a hit in this inning. Has Larkin at third. Whittingham at second. And Braggs at first with one out. Maybe a double play. Out at second. The A's still lead. Bottom of the 6th. The A's still lead 1-0.
The runner at first base is reminded on a ball hit with the bases loaded, don't let the second baseman tag you. For that reason, Bragg slows up here, and he cannot take. You see that little stutter step? That prevents him from going into Gallego, who had the ball hung up in the glove, and he just barely made the double play. You see that little hang up? And Braggs wasn't aware. Obviously, he was aware, but he wasn't allowed to take out Gallego because he had that little stutter step to prevent Randolph from tagging him. Very interesting double play there.
First pitch, a strike to Dave Henderson in the bottom of the 6th, with Rijo on the mound, having set down 10 in a row. Henderson flies it into center field for Winningham. 1 out. Henderson is 0 for 3, and that's 11 in a row. Tim, you could see Braggs looking at the second baseman, trying to determine what he was going to do.
Well, you're reminded not to let the second baseman tag you. You don't want to tag and then a throw to first. But had Braggs not slowed down, can you imagine what he would have done to Gallego? Gallego only 5'7", Braggs 6'3 and a half, and about 230.
That would have been some collision, a one-sided collision. Ball 1 to Baines. 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. 1-0 Oakland in the bottom of the 6th, and a strike. Don't overlook this wonderful pitching effort by Jose Rijo. He struck out 7, walked 3, 1 intentionally, and allowed 2 hits, both in the first inning. This old-timer wants the batter to do something, but he pops it up. Backing out is Duncan. 12 in a row. 2 gone in the 6th. Tomorrow, the NFL Today commences at 12:30 Eastern. Leslie Visser with a story about the Rams, who are 1-4. John Madden talking about the Giants without Carl Banks. The NFL Today is the last word before kickoff. Most will see the Eagles and the Redskins. Others the Saints and the Oilers, or the Cowboys and Tampa Bay. Late game, Phoenix and the Giants. Giants are undefeated. Falcons play the Rams. Check your local listing tomorrow. Then tomorrow night, if we have Game 5, 8 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports for the World Series. Lansford with 2 out. He's jammed and hits one to Sabo. That's 13 in a row by Rijo. We have played 6 innings. 1-0 Oakland.
Jim Codd down below home plate, right behind our camera position here. This is the Oakland A's pitching chart, charting Dave Stewart's work. Tells you how they pitch him, where they play him, and of course Tony La Russa wants that 7 good innings from Dave Stewart, and that's a look at the types of pitches and where he's throwing them to get those 7 good innings. By the way, Jose Rijo is up to 92 pitches right now for Lou Piniella's Reds.
You're right, Jim. That's what La Russa told us about Stewart. He said, I want 7 innings from him. Then I've got Honey, talking about Honeycutt and Eckersley. So they want Stewart to get through this 7th. Meanwhile, the Reds, who missed a golden opportunity in the 6th, send up Sabo to start the 7th, and he's had 2 of the 4 Cincinnati hits, both singles. It cracks it into left, and Henderson chases it back at the track, and it is off the fence. Great play by Ricky. Sabo for 2, and he's safe. He's 3 for 3. There's the tying run with nobody out in the 7th. And 9 base hits in the series for Sabo.
9 for 15, and this ball comes ever so close to going out of this ballpark. Fastball up in the strike zone. Sabo running hard all the way, and we will see just how close this ball comes from going out. About 6 inches. Wow. This could be a tie game very easily.
Sabo 3 for 3. And the batter, Benzinger, wants to move the runner or drive him home. Ball 1.
See, that's the reason he's not bunting right here. You've got Oliver and Duncan coming up. They are not that proficient against right-handed pitching, even though Oliver does have a base hit in this ball game. So that's why Benzinger's allowed to hit here.
Good base runner, Sabo. Remsinger takes a strike on the corner. This batter hit a ball hard in the second and was robbed by Willie McGee. That cost Cincinnati a run. And he flied to left. Tying run at second, nobody out. He advances the runner, and Randolph throws to first. One gone. Sabo at third, one out. Tying run. And Marissa will now direct the infielders.
Had his hands together, so we'll see what that means. It looks like the infield's coming in. You got to play the infield in here.
And a hot hitter in this series. Joe Oliver is the key man. He has a double. He's 1 for 2. He's had 6 hits in this series. He'll try to get Sabo home from third. Stewart from the stretch. Foul ball out of play.
It's out of play because Oliver was out in front. Stewart's going to try to work him away. I doubt that they will come inside with a strike, as Quirk's out there talking to him right now. See the slider outside, and watch Oliver reach and pull it foul.
Oliver, a hero in game 2 in the 10th inning. Could do it again here in the 7th inning. Reds trailing 1-0. Love the strikeout.
Again with the slider away. First pitch was up a little bit. I think Dave Stewart's telling Joe Oliver right here that he's going to stay away. Away, away.
Speaking of away, the Reds let one slip away in the 6th. They don't want to miss this opportunity. The runner will stay as Lansford fields the ball. 2 out. What a big put out that was for both teams.
3 similar pitches. Sliders away, away, away. Watch Lansford look at Sabo. Just looking him back. There's nothing Sabo can do. Big, big out for Dave Stewart.
In the 6th inning, Cincinnati at first and third, nobody out. Bases loaded, 1 out, and didn't score. Here they had a leadoff double. Runner at third, 1 out. Now he's there with 2 out. And the batter, Duncan. 0 for 2. 0-1. This is the spot where the pitcher has to have a lot of confidence in the catcher, Tim, when he's keeping that ball down.
That's exactly right. You got to make your pitch and just rely on your catcher to make the play if the ball's in the dirt.
Field back with 2 out. 1-1 now. And the Reds let this opportunity get away, slide away. Who knows how many more chances they will get.
Yeah, think about how tough it is for a catcher here. You call for the breaking ball. It's designed to break down, but you don't want it down so much that it's in the dirt.
Sabo at third, 2 out. Tying run. Slide to Duncan, who's in the hole. 1 and 2. Lou Piniella knows that he's missed an opportunity in the 6th.
They have missed more than one opportunity tonight, as you see. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position this evening.
That should end the inning. Dave Henderson wants it. The A's still lead. 1 left for Cincinnati. They've left 6. 7th inning stretch time. 1-0 Oakland. As we go on to the bottom of the 7th inning, Dennis Eckersley strolls to the Oakland bullpen toward the left field corner. And is this wonderful pitching effort by Jose Rijo going to be wasted here? He's retired 13 in a row. Hasn't allowed a hit since the 1st inning, and pitches to Jamie Quirk, who has fanned twice. And Ball one.
That is his 93rd pitch. You heard Jim Cott at the end of the 6th inning talk about 92 pitches for Rio, and remember, Lou Piniella told us 100 would be max. Pitching so well, though, you know.
And a good play by the first baseman Benzinger, and that's 14 in a row, and these A's can't give Dave Stewart any breathing room. Quirk 0 for 3.
Good play by Todd Benzinger, adjusting to the bad hop on the ball hit by Quirk. A quirky hop.
I'll say. Benzinger made sure he blocked it. The batter is McGuire. He hits it to deep right field. Back at the track, O'Neill, and 2 out. 15 in a row by Rio. 2 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. What a job by this fella. A winner in the first game and sparkling tonight.
And we've said it, he's done it with a fastball and slider. Great location. I mean, his sliders have been right on the corner. McGuire coming close here, but McGuire was not a good hitter to right field. A 400 hitter when he made contact to left field. A 120 hitter when he made contact to right field. Big difference.
Rio made him go that way, and Randolph takes us to Reich. And Larissa howls at the umpire.
Athletics trying to get off the hook here.
Larissa looks in the dugout. They're on a hook. They're on a 3-0 hook, and leading by a scant 1-0 score in the bottom of the 7th with 2 out. Strike 2 from Rio. Boy, is he hitting the spot. There's Dave Stewart. Nothing doing in the bullpen, so he'll go back to the mound in the 8th. That ball is foul. Oliver tried to get to it. If the A's do nothing here in the 7th, Stewart will have a 1-0 lead to work with in the 8th inning. He's responded to this point. Pitched out of some terrible jams in the 6th and 7th. Some Cincinnati fans have made the trip. Oh, and 2 to the batter. Ball for Winningham. 16 in a row by Rio. We've played 7 innings. The Athletics won. Cincinnati nothing. Leaving the mound after the 7th inning and approaching the dugout, Jose Rio said, "Let's go, you guys. Vamonos. Let's get some runs. Get me a run. Get me a couple. Let's get back into this game." Dave Stewart on the mound. The bullpen of Cincinnati can't do much to him when you're behind in the game with that bullpen.
I tell you, it was a funny thing. When Rio came off the mound, about 5 or 6 of those guys all bent down and tied their shoelaces a little tighter. They've been
ready.
they've been relaxing a little bit, and they realize they may be in the ball game in the next inning or 2.
Larkin is 0 for 2 with a walk. He led off the 6th with a walk. Ended up at third base, and a double play ball off the bat of Morris into the 6th, and a leadoff double in the 7th by Sabo was wasted. What's going to happen here in the 8th? 1-0 A's. And ball 1. The third baseman Lansford with Larkin up there is in a unique position, Tim.
Yeah, he's guarding the line and guarding against the bunt.
Tough spot. On the corner to Larkin. This is the leadoff man in the lineup. Winningham to follow, having replaced Hatcher. Then O'Neill in this 8th inning. Foul makes it 1-2. Now Lansford at third goes deep. Stewart has to chase the balloon.
A full staff of relievers. Burns, Eckersley, Nelson, Sanderson. I'll tell you, that guy whose name starts with an E is the guy you should be concentrating on there. However, the left-hander comes up, maybe Rick Honeycutt.
1-2 to Larkin leading off. That ball slices foul and drops out of play. It stays 1-2. Well, aside from one at bat by Hatcher, Cincinnati's played this game without Hatcher and Eric Davis. Notice foul falls on the others to get some runs. Base hit for Larkin. Dave Henderson has to handle it well, and he does, and he holds him to a single. And this is 4 innings in a row that Cincinnati's put the leadoff man on base.
Herm Winningham is in the ball game because of what happened in the first inning. An 0-2 pitch to Billy Hatcher conks him right on the left hand. X-rays proved negative. Both he and Eric Davis taken to Merritt Hospital. Eric Davis, a possibility of a bruised kidney, and he is in the emergency room at Merritt Hospital right now.
The tying run is on, and Eckersley and Honeycutt warm up. Eckersley, the right-hander. Larkin a threat to steal. Hitting room through the right side. And a bunt foul by the batter hits the umpire. Hit him on the left-hander wrist.
Only a manager with the confidence in his bullpen that Lou Piniella has would elect to bunt to tie in the 8th inning. And that's what you're doing. You're on the road, and this ball comes back and pops Ted Hendry on the left hand. There are a lot of guys being hit by baseballs tonight.
This is the game Piniella wants to win. He may not have Hatcher or Davis for future games.
He'll be weakened, no question, but the last time he was in this situation, he hit and run with Winningham and Larkin.
Larkin takes a safe lead. 4 innings in a row. The Reds have put the leadoff man on. And 5 times in the game. And they've been shut out. Larkin leading. Not going. Strike. 0-2.
See, that's a big pitch because now it's 0-2 to Winningham, and that takes the hit and run out of play. So now they've got to earn it. There's no sacrificing and driving in the tying run, things of that nature.
Takes the bunt away.
Right.
Double play killed Cincinnati in the 6th. Ineffective hitting in the 7th. Leadoff single in the 8th. He bunts, and the play will have to be to first and safe. Winningham beats it out. A 2-strike bunt.
How about that?
It was in a perfect spot.
Oh. So the 2-strike count takes the bunt away, huh? I mean, this surprises everybody. Well, maybe I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for me. This shocks me right here. You couldn't have put a blueprint down any better than Winningham, and Jamie Quirk understandably coming out slowly to field it, and Winningham has a bunt base hit with a count 0-2.
Let's see what O'Neill does. Do you know these Reds are 1 big hit away from taking the lead and perhaps winning this series? There is ball 1. As O'Neill showed the bunt, he's 0 for 3.
Winningham did not give himself up when he bunted. He was actually bunting for a base hit with a count 0-2.
O'Neill the batter, and the options belong to Piniella. And that bunt will cause the play to go to first and safe, and the bases are loaded. Stewart pulled Randolph off the base, and La Russa wants to come out and talk about that one. Bases loaded, nobody out. It'll be a sacrifice and an error when this argument is over.
I think Tony is saying, look, to Randy Marsh, that You cheat on this play all the time. But when you're throwing the ball inside the line, it looked like Paul O'Neill may be pulling up lame with a hamstring pull. Oh, he was on the bag. He was on the bag. It appeared to me that he was on the bag.
Well, that's a big play, and it really opens the gates. Argument is ended.
Willie Randolph tries to stay on the bag as long as he can, and it appeared to me that he had the bag.
Both pictures looked that way.
Yep.
Willie didn't argue much about it, and the bases are loaded, nobody out, and the batter is Glenn Braggs. And no pitching change. They go with Stewart here in the 8th. Though Eckersley is ready. Braggs is 0 for 3. And he pops it out of play. The infielders are back at second and short. They'll give up a run, the tying run, for a double play here in this 8th inning. So Rijo may be rewarded after all. The Reds have left 6 hit into a double play and lost a man stealing.
Ball back to Stewart. He will come home.
Braggs hits a possible double play ball, and only one, and a run scores, and we're tied. It is a 1-1 game on the infield out on the fielder's choice by Braggs. The previous play was a sacrifice and an error to the pitcher. Now the fielder's choice and the RBI.
Funny thing, had Stewart executed that play on that throw to first, it was an error on Stewart. Then you bring the infield in, and in a situation like this, Larkin probably doesn't score.
Now it's first and third, one out, and La Russa to the mound. These A's are in deeper trouble now than they were even when this game began.
This is the second time that Glenn Braggs has driven in a run on a fielder's choice in this series. He did it in game 2, as we said earlier, to tie it.
Honeycutt is ready, so is Eckersley. The batter is going to be Hal Morris, a left-handed hitter who hit into a double play in the 6th, and Stewart will pitch to him again. First and third, one out. Over at third base is Whittingham, a very good runner. And at first base, Braggs, who has ordinary speed, and looking for his second hit of the series is Hal Morris. And it doesn't even take that. A sacrifice fly puts the Reds on top.
A squeeze could do it. A squeeze, a viable option right here. I'll tell you, Lou Piniella likes to do it. He learned it from Billy Martin.
And he showed the bunt, but nothing happened. It was not a suicide squeeze.
I wonder if it was that play that we talked about, where we talked about it all season, where the hitter bunts the ball toward the third baseman, and the runner at third follows him in, and when the throw is made to first base, then Whittingham walks home. He's already halfway home. Sure looked like that.
Hal Morris 0 for 3, and Stewart steps off to see if he can learn anything. 1-1 in the 8th. The Reds have tied it here. Well, they're trying to manufacture another run. Morris, the man of the moment for the Reds. And a high fly ball to right will put Cincinnati on top. The runner tags. They could never throw him out. The throw goes into second base, and it's 2-1 Cincinnati. Whittingham, who had that bunt single, scores the go-ahead run. Larkin started the inning with a hit. Hal Morris with a sacrifice fly.
He hit this ball. I tell you, he came very, very close to hitting this ball out of the ballpark. You see Winningham, how he's looking around. Carney Lansford, it's amazing how many third basemen wander into the view of the guy who's trying to tag up.
Sabo takes a strike from Stewart.
Third baseman will stand between the runner at third and the outfielder. Try to block off his vision so he may leave too early.
Sabo has had 2 singles and a double. 9 hits in the series. The runner going and a foul. Strike 2. Sanderson and Weiss talk it over on the bench. Their club 6 outs away from being eliminated. Sabo hits a foul ball, and there is room for McGuire. Inning is over, but Cincinnati takes the lead. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 1 left. They've left 7. Bottom of the 8th. The score now: Cincinnati 2, Oakland 1.
A great shot from the Goodyear blimp overhead at Oakland, but down here right behind home plate is the pitching chart of Jose Rijo. Lou Piniella said he'd go 100 pitches. That's exactly where Rijo is. 100 pitches, action in the Cincinnati bullpen, and a pinch hitter for Oakland. Jack and Tim.
Benzinger talking to Rijo. The pinch hitter is Ron Hassey, batting for Gallego. He's announced. Cincinnati bullpen is busy. And Rijo has retired the last 16. He has allowed 2 hits, both in the first inning. So the Cincinnati Reds finally cash in after missing opportunities, and they lead 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th, and they lead 3 games to none. Strike to Hassey. Tony La Russa's lineup card. He'll have Hassey and Ricky Henderson and Willie McGee. He has Canseco on the bench. Pitches inside.
Under normal circumstances, I think you'd see Rijo lifted, but how can you lift a man who has retired 16 in a row?
He is pitching wonderfully here in Game 4. And the ball back to the screen. Thought for a moment it hit him, but it did not, and it's ball 2.
Came very close to hitting Hassey. He skips out of the way.
Oakland needs a runner. They need a run. Hassey leading off. And he went around, and it's 2-2. There's Canseco. We may see him before this evening is over. To the second baseman, Duncan. 1 out. 17 in a row by Rijo. 5 outs remaining for Oakland. 5 outs away is Piniella from the title. And around to the leadoff hitter, Ricky Henderson. Well, Ricky has a flair for the dramatic. Is he in the mood here? Tonight he has walked. And he's 0 for 2. Strike from Jose. Piniella used to manage Ricky Henderson over in New York at Yankee Stadium. 1-1.
Not only that, he was traded for Jose Rijo. Rijo going to Oakland from the Yankees. Henderson going to the Yankees. A lot of connections.
Ricky swinging late, falls in the hole. 1-2.
Well, that slider has just been as wicked probably any slider he's ever thrown over a period of a ball game. So much for that sore hand of his and that blister.
One out here in the 8th. Did he go around? He did, and there are 2 out. Oliver throws to first for the putout, and there are 2 gone. That's 18 in a row by Rijo. That is his 8th strikeout. Henderson to the bench, 2 out. 4 outs remaining for Cincinnati to clinch it all.
Slider out of the strike zone again. And it appeared he went too far. Good call.
Willie McGee of Oakland has one of their 2 hits, and he has scored the only run. That was in the 1st. Reds got 2 in the 8th. McGee drills one to the center fielder, Winningham, and that is 19 in a row by Rijo. He might end up being the most valuable player of this series. We played 8 innings. The Reds 2, the A's 1. The good folks at Goodyear have been sending us these pictures all throughout postseason play in Boston, here in Oakland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and we appreciate it. This is the Columbia overhead, and we're into the 9th inning with the Reds on top 2-1, and Stewart still on the mound, and a bouncer to Randolph off the bat of Bensinger. 1 out in the 9th. Good effort by Stewart here tonight, but he allowed 2 in the 8th. Base hit by Larkin, bunt single by Winningham. There's Rijo. The bullpenners are seated, and a glance at the Oakland bench. Some glum faces there.
Glum and shocked.
And strike 1 to Oliver.
Dave Stewart entered this series winning 6 consecutive postseason games in a row. The Athletics had won 10 consecutive postseason games in a row. They've lost 3 here in the series and trail in the 9th 2-1.
Oliver pops it up into short left. Rickey is there, and 2 out. Tony La Russa have some good hitters up in the 9th, including that batter, the designated hitter Baines. Now with 2 out, Duncan is up. He's 0 for 3. And a strike. Billy Hatcher back from the hospital in the clubhouse after being struck by a pitch. Fly ball to center field to Dave Henderson. That takes care of the Reds in the 9th. A great job by Stewart, but maybe not good enough. Bottom of the 9th, Henderson, Baines, and Lansford. 2-1 Cincinnati. Look at that stat. Since the 3rd game of the American League Championship Series, after the 3rd inning, Oakland has not scored a run. They scored their run in the 1st inning here tonight, and they trail 2-1 in the bottom of the 9th. Oakland needs a run. Cincinnati needs 3 outs. Dave Henderson leads off against Rijo, who's retired 19 in a row. Rijo has fanned 8, walked 3, 1 intentionally. Strike 2. Dave Henderson 0 for 3. And 2. I imagine a lot of folks are gathering in Fountain Square, Cincinnati. Sabo guards the line against the extra base hit. And at first base, Bensinger does the same. Strike, and the Reds are 2 outs away from being the champions of baseball. That's 20 in a row. 9 strikeouts for Jose Rijo.
Fastball right on the corner. He has been living there all night long with his fastball and his slider. And here comes Lou Piniella. And Lou Piniella told us before the game that when he goes to the mound, he doesn't take the pitcher out. Only Stan Williams will take the pitcher out. I wonder if he's going to change it right now.
There's Randy Myers in the bullpen. They're dealing with Harold Baines. And the word for Jose Rijo is going to leave is Magnifico. Canseco picks out a bat. Myers in. Rijo out. Canseco coming up. Do you like drama? 2-1 Cincinnati. 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Jose Canseco batting for Harold Baines. He is 1 for 11 in the World Series, and that one hit was a home run. 2-1 Reds. Strike. Myers gets ahead.
Canseco has not been getting around on the fastball. I would imagine Myers will stick with that pitch.
High and away, and the outfielders are as deep as can be. Piniella 2 outs away from the title. One ball, 2 strikes. Sabo guards the foul line at third. Bensinger does the same at first base with 1 out. 1-2 the count. Two and two. Swing by Canseco. That's one of the few pitches we've seen him bend right on.
That ball was in a little bit more on the inside part of the plate, and he did have a crisp cut at that ball. When you foul it straight back, you just miss it a hair. When you foul it off the other way, you're not getting around on it.
Ball 3.
Ever so close.
And a chopper to Sabo. 2 out. Canseco fails to deliver. And the Cincinnati bench ready to explode. And the last hope for the Oakland A's is Carney Lansford. The last hope. They are on the verge of executing one of the most astounding upsets in the 87-year history of the World Series. Ball 1. What can you do? What can you say? Rijo rooting for Myers. Ball 2. Browning looks on, anxious to get back home to the new baby. Two balls and a strike with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Talk about the unexpected. Oakland a run in the 1st, the Reds 2 in the 8th. Billy Hatcher in the T-shirt back at the park. Popped up into short right, foul ball. Bensinger wants it. Cincinnati, the champions of baseball for 1990, with an improbable sweep over Oakland. Bensinger settled under that foul ball to end the baseball season of 1990. And the Reds able to celebrate. As Bensinger gloved the ball, they poised and they ran to the scene. Congratulations to Lou Piniella. Not many in this ballpark, of course, on hand to cheer for the Reds, but they'll be royally greeted back home. Look at that picture.
Juan Marichal, his birthday today. It's Rijo's wife's birthday tomorrow. Juan Marichal never won a game in World Series play, and here is son-in-law 2-0, even though Marichal's ring represented. That is a World Series ring with Marichal on it. But how about that for a proud father-in-law? He never won in the World Series, and his son-in-law has won twice.
Happy news back home to the Dominican Republic, where the winter baseball season started last night. Well, what do you think, Cincinnati and you folks at Fountain Square? The Reds have brought it home to you. They'll show you the trophy tomorrow. We'll show it to you folks here tonight. Billy Hatcher leads the parade back into the dressing room. Look at Chris Sabo, Tim. He's finally excited. There's the scene here in Oakland, where the 1990 baseball season has concluded. Pat O'Brien will have plenty for you. We're going to join in on the celebration.